broken. There you go. And welcome back to Late Night with Dr. Paul. We are here at the lovely Wooden Monkey. Cheers. And I wanted to welcome Keelin Jack, who's here from Neptune Theatre, about to play Teresa in Marion Bridge. Did I get that right?
Yes, you did.
And you played in Marion Bridge before?
Yes, I did.
Same character?
Yep, same character, same people.
Do they get to hire you at a discount because you've already had to memorize it once? You had to do less work?
Actually, the memorizing is not the hardest part.
What's the hardest part? The martinis. No doubt.
Yeah.
Excellent. Give us a little bit of background on the play. What's it about? What's the deal? Who's in charge?
It's about three sisters. It's about family.
Mm-hmm.
It's about three sisters who come home because their mother's dying. They're all three very distinct individuals who do very different things with their lives, but they're all brought together because of this.
And I assume you're a sister and not the mother?
I am a sister, yes.
Because it sounds like it'd be kind of lazy just to be the mother. You're probably just lying in bed.
Yeah, I mean, she is dying of lung cancer, so it's not an active. Yeah, she's
not a comedy then.
We don't see her. It is quite funny, actually.
Is it?
Yeah, yeah. It's
very sneaky.
Yeah, written by Daniel McIver. He's funny and touching.
And who is he touching exactly?
Well, just your hearts via his words.
All right. I have a suspicion here that you're actually the playwright, and for whatever reason, you're just giving credit to this McIver fellow.
Okay.
Is there any truth to that?
No. It was written. I don't know the exact year, but it was definitely written. Before I was in the late '90s. I was still, struggling around.
I'm not buying it. I think there's some blackmail going on here.
Okay.
That
well,
someone's getting credit for your hard work. That'd be a great premise for a play, wouldn't it?
Would be. I think it probably is.
We'll revisit that.
There are no new ideas.
Because that'd be really fun, except for that one. Obviously.
Oh, probably, yeah.
So, whether to redo the play or do it the first time, what sort of attracted you to the play or to the role itself?
Well, I mean, the big thing is working on Daniel's script. It's one of those. He's one of those writers. You want to work with him. He writes material that's really interesting to act. It's complex, and it's fun and interesting to play. So that was a huge thing. And then the other women I'm working with are awesome. Francine DeShepper and Stephanie McDonald are also in the show, being directed by Linda Moore, who used to be artistic director of Neptune Theatre. She's a wonderful, wonderful director. So the team really was very appealing, and it's so thrilling to get to do it again.
Very good. Yeah. And are all the actresses from Cape Breton? That's where the play is set, I understand.
Yes, the play is set in Cape Breton. Fran is from Cape Breton.
You're not?
I'm not. My mother's side of my family is.
I'm not sure if that counts.
No, it doesn't.
Does everybody have to put on a Cape Breton accent when you're...
No.
You don't have to, but do you?
No.
Could you for me?
No.
All right.
Accents on demand are not something that most actors like.
Okay. Can you do a Cape Breton accent for this interview?
I don't think I should.
All right.
I could try, but probably not.
I'm not going to.
No.
But I think one of us probably should.
Well, I would do a Cape Breton accent if you would do an accent from somewhere.
I'm doing an accent right now.
Are you?
Yes.
What is it?
It's this one. I'm actually Australian.
Me too, then. Yeah.
And how did you get involved in acting? Is it something you studied and aspired to, or did you lose a bet some day, or what happened?
Sometimes I feel there's a line in the play that describes acting. Agnes, one of the main characters, the oldest sister, is an actor. She describes it as a expensive, time-consuming, and demoralizing hobby, which I often feel. I started taking classes at Neptune Theatre. Actually, is how I got started in acting. So it's very cool to get a chance to be on the stage.
I've described this show the same way, except I get martinis. So at least there's something.
Yeah, we don't usually get martinis. Sometimes, but not often.
You're acting in the wrong play, obviously.
Well, if you have any suggestions, I'm happy to take them.
I'm waiting for the Neptune production of Late Night with Dr. Paul. Then there'll be martinis.
Okay, all right.
Then there'll be martinis. What are some of the other roles that you've played in different things? What are your sort of most favorites and least favorites? And I don't mean least favorites in terms of wow, what a shit production that was. I'm thinking more, this was really either boring, this didn't challenge me, there weren't any big words that I could impress people with.
I mean, well, there's always something to love about a show, and usually when you hate it, you don't talk about it. It's not very, you don't get a lot more work if you talk about the stuff you hate.
That's why I said not the production itself.
The things that made it that way. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want more three-dimensional media roles, I guess, is what I'm
Yeah.
what I'm now saying.
Sometimes it's very fun to just do something silly. It can be, doing something like this. This show requires some real complex focus. It's the three of us on stage pretty much the whole time, and you really have to pay attention. So sometimes it's nice. For instance, the last time I was at Neptune, I was in Sweeney Todd, just kind of singing background street person. I got to play a lunatic in one scene. So sometimes it's fun to just do small parts. I work as a director. I really like working as a director. Just kind of more where I'm going right now. I haven't done a ton of acting in the past little while, and thinking of another role that I like is really hard right now. So I'm just thinking about Teresa. It's one of my favorite parts that I've ever done, and getting to do it again is really awesome.
Good. A couple of questions that were sent in from the broad sea of fans for Late Night with Dr. Paul. This was from Cheryl in Clayton Park.
Great.
What to you is the saddest part of this story?
The saddest part?
Yes.
Well, I don't want to give anything away for all of these fans who will obviously be flocking to the show.
Yes.
I don't want to ruin it for them.
So I think what I'm sort of reading then is
Sad
not a very good question from Cheryl.
Hey, that's a legit question. So the end of the first act is quite sad. I think one of the saddest parts of the show for me is sort of looking at how these three women sort of feel trapped in different ways, and the ways that they kind of fight against each other because of that. I think it's very real. I think it's something that we all experience. I know between the last time I did the show and now, I have lost a parent, and it's all very real, the way they react to each other and the way they kind of try and protect each other, and they have to. So that's sad and real for me, the way they go through that.
Okay. Tom in Halifax wants to know, what is the hardest kind of acting to do, in your opinion? Drama, musicals, comedy?
I think comedy is hard.
Do you do any mime work?
I'm not much of a mime, no. Comedy is hard for me, I think. It's because it's hard to practice, because it's so dependent on the audience. In a drama, you can kind of, have your plan and go through it. And in a comedy, you're feeling something out with the audience that's hard to predict and hard to plan, and is really satisfying when it gets right, and is really crushing when it's wrong. It hurts.
The trick is not to pay attention.
The trick is not to pay attention.
Yes.
That's one way to go about it.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you sit back and wait for people to laugh, you're just going to be disappointed.
That's one way to look at it.
Take it from me, after years of doing this show, if I had to wait for people to laugh all the time.
You'd be. There you go. Yeah.
And finally, a question from Ted in Dartmouth. Apparently that's funny. How many martinis would it take for everyone to just get along? That's very helpful. Thanks, Ted. I take it there's some conflict or discord within
there is some
the dynamic of
yeah.
the sisters.
Yeah. Well, Teresa doesn't drink.
So there is some acting going on.
There is some acting going on, yeah. Teresa doesn't drink. And Agnes is a bit of an alcoholic. So I think it's when everybody stops drinking that people start getting along in this world. I'm not, I love martinis. It's not for everybody.
Cheers.
But sometimes it takes putting them down.
I don't know what you're saying. Anyway, that's all the time we have today. Thank you so much for dropping by. I want everybody who's watching, and even people that aren't, visit NeptuneTheatre.com. Buy your tickets to see Keelin in this wonderful play that she's written, Marion Bridge. Runs, I believe, from... Am I finished? Runs from February 9th to the 21st. Is that accurate?
Correct.
And I want to also, as always, thank the good people at the Wooden Monkey for hosting us, putting up with us, and remind everybody who is going to the play, even those who aren't really, drop by the Wooden Monkey before and or after the play and spend way too much money.
Or just enough.
Yes. Join us next time as we have martinis with somebody else. Cheers.